Welcome to the first step of IEEE Footprints, Trailer of a Volunteer. So, what did you do as volunteer in your student branch?
As volunteer, I was there in my student branch to assist. I was part of SL Inspire as well as IEEE Techno Meetup. As if someone is only doing volunteering in universities, it might not be possible to have the benefits. When I heard about Richard Deemer scholarship, by the time we had to apply for that scholarship, what happened was so when it comes to being the secretary of IEEE Research and Student Activities Committee, of course you have to be
Welcome to the first step of IEEE Footprints, Trailer of a Volunteer, organized by the IEEE Student Branch of University of Jaffna. I'm Gayatri Bandara and I will be the host for the show. On the show, today we have a special guest here with us. He's the secretary of IEEE Region 10 Student Activities Committee, member of Membership Retention and Recovery of IEEE Member and Geographic Student Activities Committee, and also he's the sectional student representative of Sri Lanka Section from 2019 to 2020 and Richard E. Marlin Scholar. So I warmly welcome you, Mr. Chamika Sudusinghe, to our very first step of IEEE Footprints. And thank you very much for accepting our invitation.
Yeah, hi Gayatri, good evening.
So, Mr. Chamika, can you describe who Chamika Sudusinghe is?
Simply, if I am going to describe myself, I can describe myself as a simple individual who have skills in multiple disciplines, and I want to do better at every position that I am part of. So either it is a volunteering position, either in my academics, I want to make things better when I'm at a certain position.
Okay. So every person in their childhood, they should go to school. The inspiration that the school gives to any person is great helpful for their future life. So may I know what was your school?
So I'm from Rahula College, Matara.
Yeah. So what part did your school have in molding you to what you are today in life?
Yeah. So there are several aspects when it comes to my school. So especially when it comes to academics, I learn a lot of good skills in academics at my school. So other than that, when it comes to my school, I was part of the media unit of my school as an announcer. So other than that, I was part of Sinhala Literary Association, so what we call as Sinhala Sahitya Sangame, as a treasurer when I was back in 2010 or 11.
Okay.
Other than that, I was part of the school sports meet. I was part of the cricket team of my house for since I was in grade 7 till I was in grade 12. So I was engaging in that. So I played volleyball when I was in grade 7. So that was the only time that I played volleyball in a competitive event.
Nice to hear. Every person has a lot of things when talk about school life. So yeah. The next massive hope of every school student is to enter the university. We all know about that. Through university, you take the first step towards IEEE. As we know, the University of Moratuwa has a lot of student societies. Apart from them, why did you join IEEE?
So one of the many reasons is IEEE extreme competition. So I was able to be part of that competition as a volunteer, as a competitor when I was at the university. So that was the first time after attending the university, I got exposed to IEEE. So before I was enrolled into University of Moratuwa as a team of individuals from our school, we participated in a competition called Code Experts. So it was like back in early 2017. So it was organized by the IEEE Student Branch of University of Moratuwa, and we as a team of 4 individuals went to University of Moratuwa. And there we got the opportunity to know that there's this society called, it's not actually a society, but that the idea that what I had back then was like there's this society called IEEE Student Branch of University of Moratuwa, and they are doing these type of events and they're organizing things for school students. And that was my very first observation at the IEEE Student Branch. So before all other societies at University of Moratuwa, I got to see IEEE Student Branch first. So maybe that was the very first reason for me to be part of the student branch. Other than that, I mentioned you about IEEE Extreme. So if we consider about IEEE as an organization, and if we, I'm not going to compare with each and every other student societies, but if we consider about the benefits that we can get from IEEE, they are not limited to our undergraduate life at the university. So you can be benefited from IEEE when you're an undergraduate, because you can volunteer, you can take part in competitions, and you get the privilege of being part of the world's largest technological professionals association. So after you graduate, you'll get other benefits as well. You can be part of IEEE Young Professionals, and then following on, you can be a member in IEEE, then you can be a senior member, and maybe when you get a PhD and when you have done a remarkable service for your discipline, you will be IEEE fellow. Likewise, the benefits that you are getting from IEEE are not limited to a certain part of your life. So you will be benefited throughout your life in different stages. So IEEE is not for your university life, but it is for your entire life. So that was one of the many reasons that I choose IEEE as the student organization that I would be part of when I'm at the university.
Okay, I think it's very good message for our audience also. Then you get a membership of IEEE, then you became a volunteer. So what did you do as volunteer in your student branch?
So when it comes to the activities, what I have to say is like when there's an activity organized by our student branch, I was like engaging in each and every activity at the student branch. So as a volunteer, I was there to give my, as a volunteer, I was there in my student branch to assist in whatever way possible to accomplish the objectives of those activities. So if I highlight some of the activities that I was part of, I was part of one of the early events of our XCOM, which is Drug Aries 2019. And then the key event that I organized as the project chair was Mora Extreme 4.0. So it was previously, it was an event which is held for the students within our university. So during my term as the project chair, what I decided was like we should open this competition for all the students in Sri Lanka. One of the many reasons for doing that was because when I thought about the timeline of the event and what are the other events that were happening in that timeline, there were no other events within our university ecosystem that trains the students in universities to take part in IEEE Extreme. So what I did was I organized the competition as an island-wide event where students from various different universities get the opportunity to take part and get the experience of being part of a competition similar to IEEE Extreme. So that was one of the highlights. So other than that, there were like events, IEEE Day, IEEE Open Day, and various other events in our student branch. I was continuously supporting all the activities done by them.
There are some things you did in well, as a volunteer. So as the next step of volunteered, you participate so many national level projects. So what were your experiences in the IEEE national level projects in Sri Lanka section?
Yeah. So I was part of SL Inspire as well as IEEE Techno Meetup as the secretary of both those national projects. Apart from that, I was a delegate in IEEE SLSYW Congress from 2018 onward. And even in IEEE Innovation Nation Sri Lanka, I was a competitor there. So I was not in the organizing committee, but I was a competitor, and I have a good idea about how it operates and how the competitors are benefited there. So when it comes to SL Inspire and Technometer, the experience that I got is similar because I was serving as a secretary. I was in charge of like documentation and stuff, and I was able to like fine tune the skills in writing when I was serving as secretary, and I was able to like communicate with the speakers when it comes to techno, and I was in charge of like documenting some of the proposals that were written for IEEE MG, as well as some of the proposals that were written to get sponsorships from companies as well. Overall, it was a very good learning curve for me because I got to know lots of stuff, and I improved my skills, as well as I got to know lots of people. That's about my experience as the secretary of those two projects. So when it comes to SLSYW Congress in 2018 and 2019, it was a physical event. So in 2020, it was virtual. So I got to know lots of friends. Most of the volunteers that I worked in like 2020 were friends that I met from the Congress back in 2018 and 2019. So it was a very good experience. We got the chance to be part of some games and stuff, and there were some other events as well, which gave us lots of opportunities to fine tune our skills, as well as they provided us many other resources as well. So that's my experience in Congress. Then it's about IEEE Innovation Nation, where I participated as a competitor. Eventually, we went on to like win the competition in 2019. It was a very good experience because we went through the ecosystem of how we can uh, build a startup from scratch, like what are the skills that we need, and it was really well organized by the team at Innovation Nation back in 2019. So that's it about national projects. So uh, I was able to like be part of all four projects, although I was in the organizing committee.
Okay, nice to hear all the things. And also, you became the sectional student representative of Sri Lanka Section. What work did you have to do in this position? And can any volunteer reach for this? I think our audience will love to know those things.
Yeah, sure. I'll answer that. So when it comes to the workload of the section student representative, rather than me going through all the stuff that is about this position, you can just browse the responsibilities from IEEE Sri Lanka Section website. I think that would be a very good reference for you all. So if you think that you want to know more about the responsibilities of the section student representative, you can visit R10 Student Activities Committee website. There also we have the manual for section student representative and student activities committee chair. In the recent manual, I was also contributing to the improvements made in this year in that manual as well. So when it comes to the section student representative, simply what he or she has to do is like he or she has to be responsible for all the student volunteers in Sri Lanka. He or she has to like cater what are the requirements, what are the requests and of the student volunteers, and he or she had to make sure that all the student branches are performing well, all the student branches are doing activities, they're applying for those awards, they're applying for they are meeting the deadlines when it comes to the deadlines imposed for several objectives from IEEE. Like they have to like report every event, they have to like do an annual submission to IEEE. So those are like the key activities that a section student representative has to involve when it comes to the official stuff. So other than that, when it comes to specifically for IEEE Sri Lanka section, there's a specific set of events that should be organized in the end of IEEE Sri Lanka section, and the responsibility is there with the section student representative and the SAC chair. So they have to like take the lead in organizing events of the national project. So we have like several national projects now, and then there's IEEE Sports Day, there's IEEE Annual Get Together, and there's IEEE Awards Night. And from last year onwards, we have IEEE Boost, and this year also there are like many events organized by IEEE Student Activities Committee of IEEE Sri Lanka Section. So simply the section student representative has to be responsible in organizing these events, and he or she has to like delegate work to the other volunteers in the SAC as well as in national projects as well. So simply, again, if I have to mention, he or she has to be responsible for all the activities organized for students in IEEE Sri Lanka section.
Okay.
And the second question is about like whether anyone can be a section student representative or an SSR.
Yeah.
So my answer is yes, anyone can be a section student representative, but he or she has to like go through the ladder. So last year, if you were part of like Congress or any other events that were organized where I was also a speaker, or the SACCHA back then, Mr. Teshan Sampath also like mentioned through several webinars and several events organized by the section, like when you are a volunteer, what you can do is first is like you can volunteer for your student branch. Then what you can do is like maybe you can lead a project. You can be a project chair at your student branch, and maybe you can be in your excom in your student branch. Other than that, what you can do is like you can be part of the national projects, being a volunteer. Likewise, maybe first year you might be a volunteer in your national project. Maybe next year you will be able to be the project co-chair or the project secretary of a national project. And then maybe you can apply for the positions in the student activities committee. Either you are being part of a national project, or either you are in part of the excom of your student branch. There you have the experience and the skills. So if you are going through the ladder, then the next point from being in the national projects and being in the excom, being the section student representative. So you can apply for that position, and we get like many applications every year. Like last year, I think we got like around 20 to 30 applications, and out of those applications, the applicants are like shortlisted, then a comprehensive interview process is going there for each and every individual who was shortlisted, and they have to like answer some of the questions asked by the interviewers, and they are, other than that, they have to like present a case study regarding what they want to like accomplish being the section student representative. So that's more about the technical process of becoming a section student representative. So if someone has the dream, or someone wants to become the section student representative, it's possible. And maybe even if you are in your first year, you can start having that idea, like one day I'll become the section student representative. Maybe even before you graduate, even before you are in your final year, you will get the opportunity, because if you involved in activities in your student branch as well as in activities organized by the section SAC. So it's possible for everyone. There are no restrictions, there are no biasness. There's a completely transparent process of how you can be a section student representative. And in almost all the webinars, or almost every workshop that I involve in, I always mention about the hierarchy that you can go through when you are volunteer for IEEE Sri Lanka Section. So if you are following that hierarchy, and if you are making an impact, like it's not just about like fulfilling the responsibilities in your volunteering positions. You have to make an impact, you have to make a change, you have to make sure that you've done something different, and you improve the process of an activity or an event that you have organized and you are part of. Then the volunteers in above you, or the senior volunteers will recognize that this individual has the capability not only to do what is allocated, but also to do something different, be innovative. So if you are going in the process and doing things uh, that are innovative, that can make an impact, then for sure you will be able to become a section student representative.
Okay, I think it's a good inspire for any volunteer who like to go the target. So in here, you had to face so many challenges. What are the challenges you have to face? And you'd like to know what are the tricks you use to face those things?
Yeah. So I was the section student representative, or the SSR, for the year 2020. So one of the biggest challenges that I had to face was like we had to like organize all the events virtually, other than organizing physical events. So previous years, all those for all the 4 national projects were organized as physical events, but we had in my term, I had to organize them virtually, and I had to maintain the same attentiveness for those events, and we had to make sure that we get applications for competition like IEEE Innovation Nation, and for SL Inspire we have to organize seminars for school. And Techno Meetup was a physical event where we organized those events collaborating with different organizations, companies, and universities, and they were held at different locations, giving the experience for the participants to be at different organizations. Like if they're part of Techno Meetup, they can if it is organized at Microsoft Sri Lanka, they get the chance to be there. So likewise, we had like so many challenges when organizing these events virtually. And the way that we tackled was like we went through like different case studies in organizing these events. We had to like redefine the proposals that we do. So in early 2020, we didn't think the COVID-19 would get this much serious in Sri Lanka. So what we did was like for every event that we did, we had like different plans. So we had like contingency plans. So if we consider about Techno Meetup and Congress, we had a plan for fully virtual, we had a plan for hybrid, virtual and physical, and we had a plan for completely going physical. So likewise, we got ready for like each and every possible scenario that could happen. So that was one way of tackling those problems back in 2020 when I was the SSR.
Okay, and I want to something mentioned in here. During your time as the sectional student representative of the Sri Lanka section, you were the speaker at the IEEE awareness session of the membership development project previously conducted by our IEEE Student Branch of University of Jaffna. So that session was very important for us in the membership development of the student branch. I really have to thank you for joining us back then for the session. So let's go for the next question. There are a lot of opportunities you can get through IEEE. Among them, the Richard D. Moulin Scholarship is very special. Talking about the scholarship, you had to balance your academic with volunteering to apply begin with. How did you do that? How did the foundation come for this, and what were the opportunities you got?
So when it comes to academics and volunteering, I was like balancing them from the first year at the university. So when I heard about Richard D. Moulin Scholarship, I heard about it like in early 2020. So by the time like we had to apply for that scholarship, what happened was like I was not able to like get all the documents and stuff ready for the ready for that. So what I did was like, sorry, I made a mistake. I heard about it early in late 2019. So I had to apply by like September that year. but I was not able to get all the documents ready. So I thought like I would apply for the spring term of that scholarship back in like April 2020. So I was like getting all the documents ready and stuff. And again, like I was like doing okay in academics at the university. So I was involving in IEEE, and by 2020, I organized more extreme competition as well. So I thought like I would have a slight chance in getting this scholarship, but I did not know that I would win this scholarship for sure. So what I did was like I had this application. Uh, they have a set of criteria that they are looking for in the application that I took them seriously, and I went through the application like several iterations, and I got feedback from the senior volunteers at IEEE in IEEE Sri Lanka section. I asked from them, and I asked from them like where I have to like improve, how you have to like when it comes to these application processes, it does matter like how we uh, express ourselves. So the person who is evaluating our applications do not know us personally, and they only get to know us through our writing and what we have written in our application. So I went through several iterations, and I made sure that uh, I answered all the questions properly, and I was like straight to the point of the criterias that were in this scholarship. So fortunately, at the uh, by August or September or 2020, I got to know that I was awarded this scholarship. So if anyone wants to apply for this scholarship, so I was the first Sri Lankan from IEEE Sri Lanka section to get this scholarship. I think it's possible for everyone to apply for this scholarship, because if you consider about other countries, there are like 10 to 15 individuals from a specific country who are getting this scholarship. So from Sri Lanka, I was the first one, but I'm definitely confident that over the next few years, we'll get more scholarships from IEEE Computer Society. And what you have to do is like you have to like do well in academics for sure. So if someone is like only doing volunteering in universities, they it might not be possible to uh, have the benefits, not just the scholarship, other benefits as well. So when you are doing something, what we have to concentrate in universities is number one is academic, and then for sure like in your free time you can be part of any organization that you prefer, and you can have the satisfaction of volunteering and serving the students at the universities and serving other different purposes. So if you are able to manage those two very well, and if you write a very good application, then definitely you will get the scholarship. And in this year as well, I think the deadline is at the end of this month. So if there are volunteers from your student branch or any other student branch, they can apply for this. You might not win it with the very first time, but going through the application process is a very good experience for you. So it will be beneficial, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a very hard goal on if you get lucky enough to achieve. So, Mr. Chamika, you are the current secretary of IEEE Region 10 Student Activities Committee. Can you explain what it is and how did you get this opportunity? What are the responsibilities of this position? And our audience will love to know your experiences here.
Yeah, sure. So when it comes to being the secretary of IEEE Region 10 Student Activities Committee, of course, you have to be responsible for the documentation. So you need to make sure that the emails are handled well. You are directing emails to the relevant parties in the Student Activities Committee, and then you have to go through all the documents prepared for competitions, awards, and funding, and make sure that everything is consistent. Other than that, of course, the role of a secretary. All those activities are there in the student activities committee as well. So when it comes to how I got this opportunity, actually the way that I got this opportunity was for my service as the section student representative. So during my term as the section student representative, we did several changes to the uh, hierarchy and as well as the composition of the student activities committee. We introduced different uh, committees within the sect, like if you heard about like award and recognition subcommittee, membership development subcommittee, all those were initiated back in 2020 when I was serving as SSR. So the service that I did as the SSR uh, showed depicted that I have the ability to take different challenges and to do innovative things that could be beneficial and sustainable for an organization. So that's what got me here. And the term at Student Activities Committee of Region 10 is for 2 years. So this year, what we have done was like we've gone through the same process of last year, and we got to know about the activities that we have to organize, and we got to know about the shortcomings and shortcomings that we have at this moment, because every year what we want to do is we want to improve, and we are improving next year, and I'm giving my suggestions as well. So it's a very good experience because in Sri Lanka you get the opportunity to work with different individuals from our country, but when it comes to region 10 you get the chance to work with different people with different backgrounds and cultures, and it's a very good experience, and you get to know friends from different parts of Asia. And I also have got that opportunity, and there are like many individuals that uh, I have now different friends. So if the art and congress was physical, I would have got an opportunity to be part of that event as well. But unfortunately, due to the current scenario, we were not able to have that. We might not be able to have the congress as a physical event, but I don't know, maybe like next year it might be possible, but I'm not quite sure about it as well. But what I want to highlight is like going to a position in regional level. So it's a very good experience for any individual. So it's not just becoming the secretary. There are like various other positions. You can be a webinar coordinator, you can be a supporting coordinator, you can be a coordinator for awards, you can be a coordinator for funding, or you can be a coordinator for contests. There are various positions in a Region 10 Student Activities Committee. Even you can be a designer. So likewise, being in the Region 10 Student Activities Committee gives you lots of experience. You can network with various different people. Maybe one day, if you want to go to a different country, you will have someone you know in that country, and you can meet them, and they'll be there to welcome you. So that's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, I would like to talk about your volunteering experiences and what are the most important things you got from volunteering? Can you share a few of them with us?
Yeah, sure. So when it comes to volunteering, the first thing that anyone would say is leadership. So being a volunteer for IEEE for over the past 3 to 4 years, I got the chance to lead different individuals with different personalities, and I was able to handle them, and I was able to get the best outcome from each and every individual, and I was able to perform as a leader doing my responsibilities as well. So leadership is one of the best things that you can do as a volunteer, and leadership is not about you, not about you being a leader. Leadership is about, while you are being an exemplary leader, you have to build the next generation as well. So you have to recognize the volunteers who are working with you in your committee or in your project, and you have to empower them to be a leader next year. Because unless, what would happen is like, you might be a very good leader and you might do a very good project, but when it comes to next year, there might not be people to continue what you have done. So while you are being a very good leader, leading a project, you have to empower others as well to continue the project. So that's one thing. The second thing is the experience that you get. So when you are doing a project, you get different kinds of experiences. You have to go, sometimes you have to go through crisis. Sometimes you have to do a complete overhaul of the project because of the paradigm shifts that can happen. So these things would be really important for any person, because ultimately that will be added to your life skills, because you get so many different experience from different arenas, and uh, you you get to know like how to handle this situation. So that's number two. Number three is about networking. You get to know people from different universities, and if you consider about Sri Lanka, so we have like 20 IEEE student branches. I think 21st student branch is coming as well. So the student branches are across the country, like in all 9 provinces, and you get to know friends from different student branches. So if you consider about IEEE SLSYW Congress, there's a volunteer from each and every student branch. So you get the chance to meet friends from different universities, and then you get the opportunity to work together with them, organize events and plan stuff, and finally achieving the project objectives. So those are the three things. If I want to summarize: leadership, experience, and networking.
Okay. Mr. Chamika, do you like your profession? That's what I want to know. Do you like your profession? And
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Continue,
so
please.
what made you choose it? And how does IEEE contribute to it?
So I'm currently a final year student at IEEE at University of Jaffna. So I'm not doing a profession at the moment, but I had my internship back in last year at Lightroom Private Limited, where I was a uh, trainee engineer in machine learning and computer vision, doing a project related to augmented reality and virtual reality. So when it comes to my profession, or rather my field, it is computer science. So I am like actively engaged in machine learning, computer architecture, and embedded systems at the moment. So I am I'm like pretty satisfied with what I'm doing and what I have done as well. So I did several projects, and I have like currently made 3 publications as well. So I have done some. I have done uh, maybe a little improvement into the field that I am part of. So the reason for choosing it was like, I believe computer science and engineering is one of the key fields that we have. Even the subfields that are within computer science, if you consider about machine learning or artificial intelligence or other subfields, they are recognized by the World Economic Forum as the fields to be engaged in this decade or the next, in this decade and the next decade. So uh, the reason is it is exciting, and it gives us various opportunities and you can explore. So that's about it. And when it comes to IEEE has its own computer society, which gives various opportunities when it comes to volunteering, as well as when it comes to publication as well.
Yeah.
So uh, those, the field and IEEE are like directly connected, and that's about it.
Okay. So you told us you believe engineering and computer science also. So as we all know, the meaning of IEEE is Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers. Is IEEE only for engineers?
So the answer to that question is IEEE is not just for engineers, and you might feel it because of the uh, ex expanded term when it comes to IEEE. But what I have to highlight here is that we don't actually use that term now. We just say the organization as IEEE itself. So there are like 39 societies in IEEE about various uh, disciplines. So some of the disciplines are like directly related to engineering streams, but there are some other societies which are focusing on our communication skills. And other than the societies, there are like special initiatives called IEEE entrepreneurship. So they are not like directly focusing on engineering aspect. So IEEE is not just for engineers. I would rather say if there's a society within IEEE, or if there are events organized by IEEE that would allow you to achieve your objectives, you can be part of IEEE. And other than that, what's special about IEEE is IEEE has its own unit for humanitarian activity, or either direct through IEEE, or either through a society within IEEE. As I know, IEEE PES has its own unit for humanitarian activities. They are organizing different projects, and they are organizing different competitions as well. So uh, if we want to do something for your community or to your university, you can be part of IEEE, and you can utilize the resources provided by IEEE to achieve your objective. So either you want to do a project for the school system in Sri Lanka. We are doing it for through SL Inspire. We are doing it to improve the quality of higher education and address some of the key issues in higher education in Sri Lanka. So through IEEE, we got the opportunity to organize this project, and we got the funding and the resources. Likewise, IEEE can be utilized to achieve your objectives if you are aligning them with the strategic plan of IEEE. So it's not just for engineers. You can be part of IEEE even if you are not an engineer, but your field has to be like a bit relevant. So it has to be beneficial for you at the end as well.
Okay. So what kind of satisfaction do you get from volunteering in IEEE?
So the satisfaction is like I get to be part of different projects, and I get the opportunity to do a difference in these projects and influence others. So uh, when it comes to IEEE, if I consider my experience, uh, I'm like really satisfied seeing how the student branches are performing. So the best thing about volunteering is satisfaction that you get from what you did. So this year we are seeing lots of student branches getting awards, and they are being recognized, and they are doing various different activities. For an example, if you consider about your student branch as well, you have like elevated your stuff from last year to this year, and you are doing different projects. If you consider about this as well, this is something new that you're doing. So I'm really happy about seeing what each and every one of the volunteers in every student branch is doing. And the other satisfaction is like I would like to contribute to all the activities that are done. Like if there's anything that I can assist, I'll be there to assist, and I would be happy seeing the accomplishment of others. So that's it.
So in this conversation, we got so many things about IEEE, volunteering, and the others. So, Mr. Chamika, what is your message for the members who like to volunteer and everyone who would like to join IEEE?
Yeah. So when it comes to the volunteers who are starting their IEEE journey, maybe you are in your first year, maybe you are in your final year at your university. This might be the first time you might be hearing about IEEE. It doesn't matter which year you are. So if you're starting from first year, of course, you have the advantage of having a head start because you have 4 years as an undergraduate to do projects, engage in projects, be a volunteer, climb the ladder from the university to the national level. Of course, you get the benefit and you will be able to do different activities. But if you are in your final year, even if you think that your life as an undergraduate is at the very end, you can be a graduate student, and maybe in Sri Lanka as well, you can be a graduate student, maybe in a different country. You can be in a different country, you can form your student branch in a different university in a different country if there's no student branch. But if there's a student branch, you can go there and you can engage. You can start your volunteering journey as a graduate student as well. So it doesn't actually matter where you start. You have lots of opportunities, but you have to do is like you have to start soon. So if you are starting as an undergraduate, of course you are getting the benefit as a head start, but you can start at any point of your journey as well. Even as a graduate, you can start as an IEEE member. You can be part of IEEE Young Professionals and various other professional activities. Actually, there's no point that we can say that you should start at this point. What I can say is like, if you start early, you get more opportunities.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Chamika Sudusinghe, for being with us today. It's such a great honor and pleasure to have you as the first guest of our IEEE Footprint Trails of a Volunteer. Also, this is a great start for our show. We also deeply appreciate you for sparing as your invaluable time amidst a busy schedule. Thank you very much.
Yeah, actually, it's my pleasure being here.
Okay. As the last question, I would like to ask, how do you feel about this session?
Yeah, the first thing that I have to say is like, it's a very good initiative, and I believe there will be other volunteers who will be joining this as well to share the experience.
Yeah.
And uh, the questions also were very good, and I was able to share more of my experience with you guys, and I believe like my experience would assist you guys and to whoever who is listening to this after this is being produced. So it's actually my pleasure to be here and share my experience, and I wish you guys good luck with this initiative.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Chamika. I hope you all got very good exposure to what IEEE is all about. Maybe it's only a couple of minutes, but we believe you got very good knowledge on IEEE and as able to hear the journey of premier volunteer in IEEE from the Sri Lanka section. So, Mr. Chamika, we have prepared a virtual token of appreciation for you. Please accept our token.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Before we wrap up the session, I thank you all for joining us today. We hope you had a great time, and we will catch you again with another interesting show. Thank you and stay tuned.